Okay, welcome everyone. Part 3 of Ask the King, episode 42. Let's jump right into it because we got so many questions left. The first question is from Daniels Wee. It's a long one, so bear with me here. He says, "Hey Phil, ever since your excellent playthrough of Dark Souls 2 with Facecam, I've wanted you to do more playthroughs with the Facecam, but if I remember right, you said that you do not like the concept of Facecam. So I'm going to ask you if you could reconsider your opinion about it and start doing Facecam playthroughs from now on. Plus, it would not be any extra work for you other than plugging in the camera to your PC, excuse me, adding it in XSplit, and moving it around to resize on the screen, etc., etc. I believe that's how you made it for Dark Souls 2. I think that a lot of people would like to see this happen. Your reactions from falling off the platform when you fought the ancient dragon was hilarious. You almost fell off your couch laughing, and I began to laugh harder." Listen, Facecam has its pros and its cons. Facecam is great for a playthrough where you know there's going to be a lot of hilarious reactions, where you know there's going to be some funny stuff going on. A game that maybe isn't heavily narrative driven, but maybe it's more action and gameplay driven. So Dark Souls 2 is the perfect game because there's a lot of cheap deaths, there's a lot of stuff that pissed me off during that playthrough, and to see my reactions on the screen is pretty funny. But when Facecam becomes the focus of the content, that's when I feel that it's illegitimate and it's not gaming for the sake of enjoying the game, but just to act like a clown and be a fake entertainer to you, and it doesn't matter what the gameplay is, right? So if we're going to play a horror game and I'm just at the camera the whole time and acting like a fool, that's not me. That's not genuine. That's not real, okay? With Dark Souls 2, I specifically was requested to do a face cam because people knew it wasn't going to have a lot of story. It wasn't like during a cutscene, my face and I'm making fun of the game. It wasn't going to be distracting from that, but there was going to be a lot of hilarious gameplay. If there are games that cater towards that, I would consider using the face cam. Now, here's the big thing that you have to consider is that, I got the face cam to work for Dark Souls 2, but it takes a lot of memory. I found this out. When I use face cam and I'm doing a game, it takes up a lot of my computer's memory. In fact, the other day I was trying to do it, and I was like, well, I was just trying to do a regular playthrough. And my memory, my CPU was maxed. I was like, why is this so choppy? What's going on? Why is all this memory being used? Come to find out, my face cam, my webcam, was selected in a different screen in XSplit, and it was still running it. So it was using resources of the computer to run this, even though it wasn't even on the screen, and it was eating up my memory. So if I'm going to do it, I have to do it in a situation where it's very needed and it's not going to be a detriment to the quality of the video that's going on during the gameplay as well. Another important thing, I still don't think I know how to do face cam with PC games. I don't think it will work. I think it's going to eat up too many resources, and it probably won't be viable for PC gaming. So for example, my upcoming Oblivion playthrough, I probably would not be able to do it. It's hit or miss. I see the positives for certain situations, but I also see the massive amount of negatives. The last thing I want to do is become just like everyone else, the person who overreacts on Facecam to try to get you to laugh instead of actually being legitimate into the game and trying to be good at the game and do as best as I can. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that sellout gimmick artist. That's not who I am. That's not how I made my start. That's not how I want to put myself out there. In the future, if there are a lot more requests for Facecam, yes, I would consider doing it for more playthroughs. However, since Dark Souls 2, there really hasn't been an abundant demand for it. In addition to that, right now, I'll be honest with everyone, my gaming PC is pretty much at its limits. If I do get an upgraded PC after I move at a later date, great. If I get an updated top-of-the-line PC and I can have even better capture quality and I can run a Facecam and it's not eating my CPU, would it become a more commonplace thing? Perhaps, but for now, I don't think that it's worth it. Okay? All right, let's see. Next question. Hey Phil, I was wondering if you would consider making a special video with John, Rambo, and maybe Howard before you leave Connecticut as a sort of flashback on all the years that you guys have been putting out gaming content for the viewers. It would be a sort of a farewell video since you wouldn't be living near Rambo or Howard any longer, and it would definitely be interesting to reminisce on all the success and happy memories that you guys have had over the years. And that one is from I Spawn, I Die. When John's here this Saturday, we're going to have a serious talk because this is the first time that really it's definitive that I'm leaving Connecticut. And we're going to have a serious talk about what kind of plans can we do for maybe some special things planned for you guys before I move. In fact, I already had the idea that maybe I'm going to have, for old time's sake, come June, and let's hope that freaking in June, that Ultra Street Fighter 4 comes out at some reasonable time in June. I don't think it has an exact date yet. In fact, hold on a second. I'm going to look at the calendar here. No, it doesn't. They're just saying that Ultra Street Fighter 4 is coming out in June, but no one seems to know exactly when, okay? But imagine doing a cool event where I invite back people like Howard, Rambo. I could invite some people who used to play fighting games with us, like Drew, and other people from the local area. Justin, remember Mayor McJustin? Maybe he could come back and play some games for a bit, and we can have everyone just hang out one last time and play games and have fun before I basically move out of here. That could be a big possibility and something that I may be interested in doing. Now, the kind of video that I Spawn, I Die is talking about, I think would be more like this. A stream where the three of us are on the couch and we just shoot the shit and we reminisce about stuff. Maybe we take live questions and we answer them about what was your favorite thing about doing a certain thing and stuff like that. I think it could be a great idea. And, people say, times they are a-changing and that over time things change and, yeah, it's true. And is it sad that I'm going to be leaving, these people who I grew up with and these people who I've spent so much time with in person? Absolutely. But it's also a new chapter. It's a whole new chapter of my life. It's a new chapter of my content. And it's for the best. In my opinion, it's definitely for the best, at least financially, once I get settled in. And finally, once I sell this condo and I'm paying no state taxes out in Washington State, then it's definitely going to be for the best for me. So, I will see what we can do for you. I don't want to leave you guys hanging or just be like, well, I'm moving, see ya, and that's it. And that's you never hear from Howard or Rambo again or anything like that. No. We're going to see what we can do. Maybe we can go, if we're going to go out and say goodbye to Connecticut, maybe we could go out with a bang. Okay, so let's think about that, and let's think about some events that I could possibly do. And you guys send me your ideas too, and we'll see what we can make happen. Okay. Let's see. Next question. Hey Phil, I noticed that for more recent playthroughs, your videos now have funny captions or descriptions in the titles. I really like this because it makes finding certain moments easier when rewatching your content. I'm curious, what made you decide to use those funny captions and descriptors in the titles of your videos? Is it often easy to come up with them? How do you keep track of what happens in each video for labeling, considering that you make a pretty good lot of videos? And that's from Dash Zero. What Dash Zero is talking about is that for the Dark Souls 2 in particular playthrough, I found that the playthrough, that number one, it was incredibly long, and number two, if people wanted to find particular moments, such as, oh, that boss fight that Phil, did a good job on, or that boss fight that Phil failed on and it was hilarious, and they want to find that stuff, they're going to have a hard time finding it because the playthrough's so damn long. So what I started doing was, if there was a particularly hilarious moment, if there was something interesting that happened in a certain part, I would actually put that kind of a title on it. So it'd be like, playthrough part 56, so-and-so boss fight, what a dick, he killed me, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Or funny observations, part 127, damn it, I failed again, or he tricked me, blah, blah, blah. And people would remember those parts based off the titles and go and rewatch them. So what I started doing with my recent content, I did this for Resident Evil 4 as well, is doing the same, similar kind of thing where I name every part something in particular. Now, I'm only doing this for certain playthroughs as a test, okay? And I'm doing it as a test because I wanted to actually do this in early 2013, and all I got was negativity. Oh, you spoiled. It's annoying. Oh, it's a cheap grab for more views. No, you idiot. How could you say that it's a cheap grab for more views? Putting a customized title on your video is a business plan to make people know how to go back to an interesting part. Oh, it's a cheap. How is it a cheap tactic? That's a tried and true business method. You know what I mean? It's not a different thing. If I just put playthrough part 1 through 200, how would you discern one from the other? You don't, unless you're watching them all in order. I wanted to do this, but I got so much negativity in early 2013 that I stopped doing it. And you know what? I realized I shouldn't have. If this is something that I definitively want to do for my business, and I think that it adds value to the content, I should just fucking do it. And say, enough of the people who, no matter what I do, are going to say I'm doing it wrong. They're going to say I'm doing it wrong no matter what. I got to do what I feel is the right way best from my beliefs. And I believe that putting a fun title on a video is a cool thing to do. Okay? Now, in regards to that, Dash Zero says, how do I come up with the titles? It's very simple. When I cue the video to upload, I play it, I watch through it briefly. Oh yeah, that's the part that this happened, and I just make up a title on the spot. I don't make up the titles while I'm playing. I do actually when I'm uploading them, which, yeah, it's a lot more difficult, but I'm not going to sit here with a pen and pad and do oh, this was funny, I'll write it down and I'll remember it later. No, I do it later. That's how I do it right now. Okay. Next question. From Last Rambo 341, he says, Phil, I'd like to suggest a crazy new series that you can start called DSP Sings Insert Song Here. Hearing your Titanfall song, the opera song in Final Fantasy, etc. was such great content and it was really funny. You can sing songs from popular cartoons or films such as Lion King, Anastasia, Ninja Turtles, etc. Well, first of all, Anastasia? That was popular? I don't know, I digress. Listen, everyone knows that there's always been a musical component to my content. Whether I bust out in song during a playthrough, whether I take something during the playthrough and turn it musically into something. Fans have made music remixes of comments that I've said over the years. Yes, I like to sing. Doing little funny song quips and stuff can be very funny during a playthrough. Titan fail, Titan fail. But is that something that I want to go into? Would it be just me singing a song? No, I think what I excel at is making like parody songs. You know what I mean? Like, here I am, I'm playing a game, and something funny happens, and I take a song and I turn it into a parody song based on what's going on in the game. That's kind of what I've done. I almost like being the Weird Al of video games. You know what I mean? I could potentially see that as being something that I do in the future. A whole new series. DSP makes up songs that are parody songs based off of stuff going on in games. I could see that, and I think people would like that. But that's one of the kind of things that I never had the opportunity to do, being in a smaller place, not having the means to really do it. That's something that maybe in the future, when I have my new place, is something that I can start. Would I just sing a song from The Lion King like... No. And why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I do that? It's very simple. Because it's copyrighted. And what people are having a lot of issues with on YouTube right now is even people who are just singing karaoke are getting copyright flags and shit from these companies trying to basically, YouTube saying that they have the rights and giving advertising rights to those companies. So if I do anything, it would probably be more of a parody. It wouldn't be the exact song. You know what I mean? Okay. All right, next question. He says, Hey, Phil, my name is Greg, and I'm a longtime fan. I know you hate taking donations, and you do not accept them. But would you consider something like Patreon.com or Subbable and offer your fans benefits like the subscription model on Twitch? I would imagine you would get more subscribers to support than on Twitch because your audience is primarily on YouTube. It also allows your fans to choose to subscribe and support what you do monthly for as little as $1 or $2, which would probably increase the amount of people who can afford it. And frankly, AdBlock is killing it for networks and for YouTube and everywhere all over the internet. And at least you can cover some of your business-related expenses if you did something like these two things. Now, I'm going to be honest, Greg. Before you sent me this post, I don't know what Patreon.com is. I've never heard of Subbable. From what he's explaining it to be, it seems to be that if you join those programs, you get some kind of a premium content. You get some kind of something above and beyond the standard content. Here's the problem. Why do I allow for the subscription program on Twitch? It's very simple. Because whether you're a subscriber or not on Twitch, you get the same content. You get the highest quality content, right? You don't get locked out of certain things because you're not paying me money. And since day one when I started on YouTube, it's always been about I provide free content that everyone can see. I put ads on it, and that's how I basically get my living, okay? Now, yeah, the dawn of AdBlock, the fact that everyone's running AdBlock, that these networks are making less and less money every year because of AdBlock, and that traditional models of making money on YouTube are kind of going away, it's a huge concern. And I've always said, I will not ask for donations unless it comes to the point where I can't make a living doing what I'm doing based off of what I'm doing. Right now, I'm making a living doing it. So I have no right to ask anyone, send me free money for nothing, which is why I say if you want to support me, become a paid subscriber on Twitch where you get things out of it, but it's not more content. It's just, okay, chat privileges, cool chat emotes, and priority access to contests and giveaways that I did. If I were to do something like these, what it sounds to me like is that I do need to give you some kind of premium content. Maybe I need to make it so that you can get advanced access to videos before other people do and stuff like that. I don't like that because that always... Why should I penalize the poor person who has been a viewer, and I don't mean poor that they don't have a lot of money. I mean the poor. I would feel bad for them if there's a person, you've been my fan since the beginning, you love all my content, you watch it, you've been a loyal viewer and fan, but now I start charging to watch my content right away. You can't afford it. Now you get locked out. How's that fair? How's that being fair to the loyal viewers and fans who've been there since day one? It's not. In fact, it's a slap to their face. It's an insult. And I would never change my business model to be that. So the question is, with these new business models, it seems like a lot of people, I'm an artist, be a patron of the arts, send me money through this and I'll give you something. Is there something that I could do that's not content based, but is still able to be something premium that I could give people if they were to help me through those? I don't know. And I would love to hear your suggestions on that, whether it's in the comments, send me information on Twitter. What do you guys think about a model like that where, you could become a subscriber, a paid subscriber, you get stuff, but it's not content. I don't want people, I got to see that game a week ahead of time because I'm a paid sub of DSP, and everyone else is like, well, that's not fair. Just because I don't have the money to spend on it, I don't get to see it first, That's not fair. That's ridiculous, and I wouldn't want to do that. So there you go. I'm thinking about it. Gears grinding in my head. We'll see. Next question. Now this one, basically, I'm going to read the question. I'm going to very briefly give you something, and then I'm going to talk about it later this week, and you'll understand why once I read it. But I wanted to read this question. It needed to be read. Okay. Hey, Phil, following the unfortunate tragedy of the death of the Ultimate Warrior over this past, week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm curious to know what impact did the Warrior have on your life as well as those around you whilst you were watching him growing up. I'm 18 and wasn't old enough to see the Ultimate Warrior in his prime, but now that I watch wrestling religiously, I've gone back on the WWE network and I've seen all of his greatest moments, as he seemed to be one of the most influential characters that the WWE has ever seen. To those who watch wrestling as fans, this is a run-on sentence, even I've connected with his passion and his legacy just by watching videos of him. I understand that Smart Guys has not been aired yet this week, but it would be cool to get your own detailed opinion on the Ultimate Warrior. Thanks. And that's from the Rookie HD. First of all, we will talk about this more in depth on Smart Guys this coming Saturday, which I have confirmed John Rambo will be here Saturday for Smart Guys and Lego The Hobbit Co-op, so I hope you'll be here for that. Obviously, it was an incredible tragedy to lose the Ultimate Warrior of all times. The week he just got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, he made up with people who he had long-standing feuds and just real-life dirt with. Makes up with them. He's on Monday Night Raw for the first time since the 90s. He cuts an awesome promo. The fans are into it. They love him. And then he passes away the next day. Life is cruel, man. Life is really cruel. If anything, the one thing you can say, at least he got that opportunity to make up with the people who he felt he had wronged, or maybe had wronged him on both sides. They kind of made up. To go on TV one last time, to get the recognition from the fans that he really had never been able to get because he never went back to WWE. And it's cruel. It's cruel and ironic, and I'm just torn up with different emotions because it's so messed up that something like that would happen. But I'm kind of happy that he had his one chance to go back like he did. It could have been a lot worse if he just passed away and never had the chance to do that. At least I could say this: he passed away, he left behind 2 beautiful daughters, a beautiful wife, and he was able to say that he made up with the people who he had beef with in his life. So at least, even though he was saddened that he left his family, at least that one thing was off his back. And as for how influential he was, I'm going to be honest with everyone, I was not a Warrior fan. I was a big Hulk Hogan guy, and so when Warrior came in and the fans were now backing Warrior versus Hogan, I was like, who is this guy? He thinks he could just run in and run straight to the top of the card. And not to say I thought that what he did in the ring was good, and he was fun, and he was entertaining, but I didn't like the way that WWE immediately skyrocketed, and they put a rocket in his asshole and skyrocketed him to the top in a relatively short period of time. They gave him the title from Hogan, and then look what happened. He burned out, he fizzled out, and he just went away forever. And that's what happens when you skyrocket someone to the top right away. But the thing is, WWE never learns. Look, they did it with Jack Swagger. They do it with so many people. And then they drop them down into the shitter. So we'll have an in-depth coverage of how we feel about the Warrior even though I'm not a huge fan of him because of the way WWE handled him, I still respect him for what he did. And I think it is a tragedy to have someone like him who has a family, young daughters, who just were so happy at this induction ceremony to lose him like that. It's heart-wrenching, man. And it's really hard to bear to see stuff like that in the industry. And you got to say to yourself, what did this poor guy do to himself, really? Because it was heart failure, it was heart disease that led him to pass away. And it's like, damn, what do these guys put themselves through, especially during that period of time? You look at guys like Jake the Snake and Scott Hall, guys who really their bodies were falling apart, and it took the intervention of so many people to get them back to a livable condition. And it's rough. It's rough. And at least, thank goodness, there's new things in place these days to make sure that people don't work themselves like that and don't get back into those kinds of positions. Okay. Next question is from Blaze1. And he says, let's see here. Hey, Phil. There's a couple on YouTube who do vlogs every day. I believe YouTube is their job with some side projects that they work on. They recently started a campaign where fans donate money in order to help them bring back a project that they had canceled. Their goal is to get $30,000 a month. Right now, they're getting $5,000 a month. The funny thing is that they started this a few weeks before they just announced, oh, guess what? We're having a baby. So I guess what he's saying is it's kind of funny that they want all of a sudden start asking for donations for a project, but then they just announced they had a baby. Where's the money really going to go to? Also, another YouTuber who is friends with the couple started his own campaign to get an expensive MacBook Pro. Not only did he meet his goal on the first day, but he was able to then buy a monitor and extra cables and accessories that he needed from his fans. Fans that donated do get things in return like promotion and viewing videos early. My question is, do you agree that these YouTubers, with what they're doing, shouldn't watching their videos be enough, yada, yada, yada? And this is kind of very similar to the previous question. How ethical is it to basically kind of be panhandling to your fans? Please give me money, please give me money, when things come up like this. And, you know, you got this one couple, I don't know who they are, but this one couple who, oh, we're having a baby. Oh, by the way, if you want to see another project come back, we need $30,000 a month. Can anyone explain to me any video project that's independently run that costs $30,000 a month? I don't think so. So obviously if there's some kind of dishonesty there, yeah, I have a problem with that. If they're really not spending the money on what they're supposed to be spending it on, I have a real problem with that, because you're being dishonest to your viewers. At the same time, we just discussed the issue of ad block and how ad block is destroying these networks and people who made their livings with partnered channels, because ad revenue is at an all-time low. So undoubtedly, when ad revenue goes away, you got to find another way to support the business, right? So I understand what's going on, and I can understand why these people are doing what they're doing. I already explained to you, I don't support getting exclusive access to certain videos. I think everyone should get the same content. But if there's ways around that, wow, you get something else instead, I don't know. And again, this is why I'm kind of asking you guys, what kind of things would you like to see that you think is fair if you were to become a subscriber of some sort on YouTube that isn't content, because that's not fair. I want everyone to get the same content, but maybe some people gets extras, or what kind of things would you like to see? On Twitch, you already know what you get if you become a paid subscriber. What would you get if you do it on YouTube? So, I don't know, but I don't agree with them if they're being dishonest. If they're being honest, and hey, people pay for what they want. And hey, the guy said, I want to buy a MacBook Pro. If people tossed money his way, can you shame him? No, shame the people who just toss their money willy-nilly at this guy. So, it is what it is. It's like just like all the other crowd-funded things. How many things are on Kickstarter that are getting funded millions and millions of dollars out of nowhere? I would like to know where this money's coming from that people are getting. That I never had that kind of money, you know? So where are all these people getting all this money to throw at people? I don't know. All right. Last question from the forums, then we'll head into Twitter and Facebook questions. This one's from CC Punk. And he says, let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. He says, recently I've been watching some of the so-called big YouTuber content, such as PewDiePie, Angry Joe, and other people. To be honest, I think that your content is better than those guys, playthrough-wise. He wants to emphasize that. I think he's saying reviews, let's face it, my reviews are just me talking. Angry Joe does an insanely good review, crazy amount of over-the-top, things that he does in his reviews that make them way different than mine. So Do I touch him there? No, but he's saying playthrough wise, he thinks that I do stuff better. Okay. Of course. Oh, here we go. Oh, I just. Let me just read word for word what he said. I shouldn't have even stopped. He says, of course, Angry Joe does a hell of a job on game reviews, but seeing your Project 7 videos from a couple years back, I think that if you actually put in the time and money that he does into his videos, you could maybe be up to par with him. So here's the thing. Everyone knows that you're an outspoken person, and I respect that. And I always watch every one of your vlog videos because I really enjoy hearing you speak and be outspoken. But I really feel that your personality has hurt you over your career as a YouTube gamer. To me, you should be a top gamer on YouTube with the talent that you have, but I think your outspoken nature is the reason that's holding you back. Again, I'm not being disrespectful to you, but it's frustrating to me seeing some of these people on YouTube who can't even speak articulately, and you're struggling with views here and there while they're getting hundreds of thousands of views on everything that they do. I would like your opinion on this. Listen, it's kind of like I said earlier, right? Remember when I said earlier on in Ask the King? I said there's some people who focus on the content, the quality of the content, the information relayed in the content, and then there's people who use every trick in the book. And I'm not talking shit about anyone in particular, but there are tried and true methods that you can use on YouTube to get viewership to go. Jump cuts, big effects in the background, using crazy ass thumbnails with googly faces. There's a ton of things that can be done. That's not me. That's never been me. Since day one, I've been a kind of person, if I can entertain you with my raw gameplay, with my genuine opinions on stuff, and you know the real me, that's how I want to succeed. I don't want to succeed being Joe Blow popular. I only do it for the money, and that's why I do all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's Angry Joe. If I'm saying Joe, don't make that association. I'm just saying that, like, Joe Average is what I'm saying. There are YouTubers who undoubtedly are getting views out there because they go the extra mile. They put in time and money. When they put out a review, they put out the review on launch day of the game because they got an advanced copy of the game, which I don't do, and I actively am against that practice. And it comes out, and there's effects, and there's video footage, and there's characters, and they're dressing up, and they're doing all this shit. Of course, that's entertainment versus information. My review is for informational purposes. Their review is for entertainment purposes. It's different. There's a difference between acting and being yourself. I've not acted, besides Project 7, I've never acted in any of the content you've ever seen me do. I don't want to be an actor. If I want to be an actor, I would be living in LA. I'd be trying to be in soap operas and TV commercials and shit like that. That's not what I want to do. I want to entertain you with my genuinely funny commentary, my genuine gameplay, and my genuine thoughts on what I do. I am very different from everyone else. I don't know how many times I have to say this. It's like people just now realize that Phil's different. Yeah. I've been different since day one. I said the difference is that everyone found the perfect storm formula to get people to watch your videos. And since it's all about this now, it's not about the content. It's not about the, the actual level of quality. It's this. So we're just going to use all these fucking things that everyone uses to get views, and we'll make money doing it. And that's what's happened. The gaming market is oversaturated on YouTube. Everyone does it for this. Everyone uses the same exact shit, and they get views. Woohoo. Now, do you hear anyone else saying this? Of course not. Do you hear anyone else like me being honest and talking about it? No. And this speaks exactly to CC Punk's point. Phil, you're an outspoken individual and that's hurt you. Well, you know what? The day that I can't be an outspoken individual, the day that I have to be a phony or I have to pinch my mouth or be quiet because I'm afraid it might insult someone or someone doesn't want to hear the harsh truth of reality, is the day that I leave. The day that I turn off my camera the final time and I walk out that door and I say, fuck it, because it's not worth it anymore. Because that's been day one. That's been my goal, to be real. I want to be the realest motherfucker on the internet. I want you to know how I feel, whether you agree or not. The problem, the reason that so many people are angry about the opinions that I have is because they're the kind of people that think that there's black and white, wrong and right in the world. And they can't understand that there could be people who have a different opinion than you, and you don't have to fucking hate them. There's people right now in the world who have completely different opinions on politics, on religion, on morality, on gaming, on TV, on entertainment, on food, on diet, on health, on everything. And I don't care that they disagree with me. I don't have to think that they're my mortal fucking enemy. But those are the people, oh my God. Phil said that he doesn't like Minecraft. Fuck Phil. he's an evil person, pan him, make sure no one watches his content again. Why? Why can't someone have a fucking opinion? And this is what pisses me off, is that these people turn it into a campaign to destroy people who don't have their own opinions, right? What's the difference between attacking someone who doesn't like Minecraft because you do, or attacking someone who's a different religion than you because you think that that's the wrong religion and you're a different one? There's none. But that's it. People, oh, if it's religion, it's serious. If it's games, it's not, and it's okay. No, it's not. Understand, this is a world with billions of fucking people in it, billions of fucking opinions. If you don't like my opinion, you don't have to like it, and you don't have to agree, but at least respect the fact that people have the right to one. And that's why I think people don't like me. Not because I have an opinion that's different, but because inside of themselves, they lack the ability to understand that you can still like someone and not agree with them. Holy shit, you can have a difference of opinion and not want to take a pen and stab it in the side of someone's fucking neck who doesn't agree with you. I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? So, my God, why would I change? Why would I change? Yes, as of today, I will never speak about anything controversial ever again. I'll just play games. I will not have any vlogs. I'm canceling all my vlog series so that I can be like everyone else. No. No. I am different because I am real. If you don't like a real person because you don't possess the capacity to understand that someone who disagrees with you isn't evil, then don't watch my content. And that's what I've said since day one. Unfortunately, this is what's happened. Now there's this mentality. Well, Phil said this one thing that we all don't agree with at one point. Well, fuck him, burn him. Not that I'm a human and I'm fallible and maybe I said things that I didn't mean in the heat of the moment. Oh my God, I'll never live down the fact that at one point I said to someone to die in a fire. Obviously, I didn't fucking mean it, and it was a mistake, and I wouldn't say that actively if I wasn't so heated of passion, of anger, or whatever it was at that moment that I said it. But 5 million people on the internet will quote that one thing till the day I die and say that I'm an evil person, right? Not that, wow, he's an emotional person. He's a person that really gets riled up during his gameplay, which people used to like. When I started, people liked it. Now they use it as a reason to hate on me. So who changed? Was it me? No, it was the internet that changed. It's a whole new generation of people moving up and watching content now. The people who watched my content primarily back in 2008 through 2011 are gone. They're adults now. They're moving on to their own adult lives, their own jobs, their own careers, their own families. They don't have time to sit around and watch YouTube videos all day anymore. And the new generation that moved up are a totally new slew of people with different mindsets, different mentalities. They're the entitled generation. If you don't listen to what they say, you're wrong. If you don't take every opinion as constructive criticism and could directly change as a result of what they say, you're wrong. If you don't directly agree with every fucking thing they have to say, you're wrong. And that's the most mind-fucked kind of mindset you could possibly have. And these are the people that don't like me. All right? So I told you, the day that I can't be myself and make statements like this and go on rants, I quit. So if that's how it's going to be, I'll quit. Right? But as it is right now, I still got enough people who like my opinions, who want to hear what I have to say, whether they agree it or not. I've got this following that like me, genuinely, and know that I'm not some kind of an evil fucking tyrant person, and they want to enjoy my content, which is what it's all about. So if you're one of those people, I thank you. And I just hope that there's more people who will finally wise up and realize that this ridiculousness has to end, you know? Okay. So now we got about 6-7 more questions and we're done. So I'm not going to make a new part. Let's just finish this off. Okay. So from Twitter, we've got 9Kenny5, and he says, what change regarding the quality of your content or the way that you record are you looking forward to the most when you move? Good question. Number one, immediately I want to try to get a dual monitor setup. So I'm going to set everything up to work the way it works now. And the first major improvement I'll probably do is try to get a gaming PC that has a video card in it, that has dual monitor out, so I can play a game on one, XSplit on the other, and I can watch it and make sure that it's working properly. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I would like to eventually get rid of these external capture devices that I have and get an internal capture card, such as, I think one's called Black Magic or something like that. I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, if I could get that internal card, that's actually what Howard has always used for his capturing, and apparently it's like light years better. You'll get more frames per second, better quality. You know how sometimes I'm capturing and you see the pixelization? Apparently it doesn't do that if you get the internal capture cards. And I can get up to 60 frames per second, which is one thing I've tried doing. It doesn't work right now with my current capture equipment. Maybe I could get better quality there. Green screen, in regards to like vlogs, like now, I could be sitting behind a green screen and have shit popping up behind me as I talk for Ask the King. Could be pretty neat, right? It could lead to a totally new series, which could be pretty neat. And also green screen for Facecam. If I'm doing Facecam, maybe you don't want to see the wall behind me. I can make it a green screen, then you only see me superimposed in the corner, right? Which is what a lot of Twitch streamers actually do. But primarily, and I think this may be another question. This was another question from someone else as well. This was actually from Gamer J Lee. He asked, "What are some of the new things you'll be doing when you set up your office?" So I have an idea for 1 to 2 new series that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I just never have had a chance to do because I don't have the filming space to do it. I could do those now, right? Series such as Poorly Cooking with the King that used to be sparse here and there, and by the way, there was none for this month because we were away in Seattle. Now, since we're going to be cooking meals regularly, I'll have more episodes of that for you guys. DSP Tries It's going to change because it's going to be all the local stuff in Washington State that I'm going to be trying, which is totally different stuff, trust me, than what they have in Connecticut. It's going to be a totally rejuvenated series. Daily vlogs, maybe once a day, I'm just going to do a vlog of the house. What's it like to own your own house? What are we doing today? Are we cleaning? Are we painting? Are we doing this? Am I paying the bills? You know, daily observations and things like that. That's the kind of cool stuff you can do. Also, keep in mind, I'm not living alone anymore. I'm going to be living with Leanna, so we're going to have input from her. And, oh, I hate Leanna. Don't worry. Every video is not going to have her. I know some people are just so anti my girlfriend because you're just such great people that you hate my girlfriend, right? She's going to be living with me, but no, she will not be in the gameplay videos unless we specifically call out a co-op thing that's coming up. She's not going to be interfering with all these other series, but she may be things like there may be a daily vlog where the two of us do something together or talk about something or there's an observation about something, right? So that's the kind of new fun stuff that we'll be able to do when we have this better place that we will have soon. Okay. All right. Wallbridge M 14, or maybe Wallbridgem 14, I'm not sure. He asks, what in your personal opinion is your very best and very worst quality? What an interesting question. I think my best quality, I have 2 of them, I think, that are kind of equal. Number 1, my ability to have a sense of humor and to basically take things in stride, but also to not be nervous. Basically, my public persona, to be able to have a public persona, whether it's playing Street Fighter on a stage, whether it's talking to a camera, to not be afraid and to not, oh no, stage fright or stuttering or anything like that. I'm able to publicly perform without any problems. That's number 1. Number 2 is my ability to think on the fly. Right now, I'm giving you honest answers on the fly from these questions. I haven't thought out the full answers to any of these. I literally do it as I talk. There's a lot of people who don't have the ability to articulate and think while they talk. They have to actually write out their thing first and then say it as like a script. I don't have to do that. I on the fly I could do improv comedy. I could do all those songs that I make during my playthroughs. I swear to God, I do them on the fly. I don't have them written out, oh wow, here's a funny lyric I can use when I play that game. No, I do it all improv, and I think that improvisational thing is one of my greatest assets. One of my worst qualities, I'll be honest, anger. I can get upset a lot, especially if there's something that I feel that I put a lot of effort into, a lot of work into, something that I particularly found really entertaining, and then to see that maybe people attack it, people shit on it, people shit on me, you know what I mean? Anger. And I do. I have anger issues. I openly admit it. Why is it that I'll every once in a while, and I know you guys have seen this, how many people, say stupid shit to me on Twitter every day? A bunch, dozens, right? And most of the time I ignore it or I block them so I don't have to see their nonsense anymore. And then all of a sudden I'll pick one and I'll respond to it in a really stupid way. Well, fuck you, buddy, Why did I do that? It's anger. I get, spur of the moment, I got to do something. And this happens. When I said go die in a fire to someone, did I mean that? No. But spur of the moment, I got so effing angry and I couldn't control myself. And For a normal person who doesn't have a public persona like I do, you have those moments in life, but it's probably a lot easier for you to hold back because you have a few of them a day. Imagine if every day you had those kind of interactions hundreds of times a day like I do. That's my life. That's my business. And sometimes I react, and I should. Okay? So, that's probably one of my worst qualities. And of course, another quality that a lot of people would bring up, even though I'll admit it, sometimes it's for comedic purposes and sometimes it's not, is that I don't openly admit fault every time that I screw up. You know, I'll be playing a game, oh, I died, blame the game. Is that a fault? I mean, yeah, it is, but I also do it for comedic purposes. It's like I said, when I used to play Street Fighter, I would do the same thing. I was blocking, that's bullshit. This joystick's obviously broken. I just did a Hyper Viper beam and the button didn't come out. That's bullshit. This button does not work. I used to do the same thing with that and people got the joke. Now it's like people, again, different generation of people, mentalities change. Apparently people don't get the joke that when I'm playing a game, I complain about something and I blame the game instead of taking responsibility. But now it's funny because a lot of the times now when I play games, I do take responsibility, in particular fighting games, and people just ignore that. When did Phil do that? He didn't do that. He still blames everyone else. Even though frequently now when I lose, I'm like, yeah, that was a good movie. I fucked up. I double tapped. I shouldn't be double tapping. That's an old practice that I need to get out of my repertoire. I say all this stuff, ignore that, and focus on the one time that I did the negative, you know? Okay. The Gray Hulk asks, what's your favorite comic book storyline that you've read? There have been a bunch. There have been a bunch that I liked. I would probably say, if you're talking like big over-encompassing storyline, Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War, I really liked in Marvel Comics. I also liked Maximum Carnage in Spider-Man. And I definitely liked the reboot of the X-Men in the 1991 when they rebooted X-Men and they had the X-Men #1 comic and Jim Lee was the artist and J. Scott Campbell was the the writer. That initial story arc of like 3 or 4 issues was really well done. DC, it's hard for me to say because really I didn't read DC too much back in the day like that, but I would say the death of Superman. Not the rebirth of Superman, not the 47 Supermen that were impersonating him, and then Superman comes back, but he has no power, so now he uses guns. Dumbest thing ever. But the actual death of Superman, I really liked, and I think that they actually, at the time, when they wrote it, thought that this might actually be the real death of Superman, and so they treated it with respect, and I thought it was really well done. There you go. Stupido says, would you ever consider updating your clothing line with more recent sayings and jokes like nothing I could do on a t-shirt? You know, I would. The reason I haven't done it is because I really haven't been into that kind of stuff. And this is funny. Watch this. Remember these guys? Remember the one time that I actually ventured out to try to do something with t-shirts? Guess what? I've got a box of about 50 to 100 t-shirts now sitting in my front hallway that Rambo recently dropped off because I told him, listen, I'm going to be moving soon. I don't want you guys holding on to Project 7 t-shirts. So the one time that I tried to really do something that was merchandise that would make money, like these would have if they sold, it was a huge and tremendous flop and almost no one bought them. We do have Cafe Press. I have a Cafe Press page. The problem is, number one, I haven't updated it in 100 years. And number two, the only way for me to make money, really, besides more than like $1 an item over there, is for me to jack the prices up. Who's going to pay $25 to $30 for a t-shirt that says nothing I can do? I can tell you how many. 0 people. 0. Goose egg. So it's like, well, I could make them, but I really make no money off of it, but I could still make them, but I got to put time and effort into making the shirts on Cafe Press, or I could pre-produce them like this, and they'll never sell and they'll sit around. I mean, this is a 2-year-old t-shirt. Actually, I take it back. This is almost a 3-year-old t-shirt because we got them in late 2012. Great. Okay. Last 3 questions, and then we're done. Let's see here. Oh, I take it back. Last 2 questions. I screwed up here. From Aiden, he says, hey, Phil, I love your content. Please keep up your great work. My question is, what are your thoughts on the up-and-coming Batman Arkham Knight, which is the return of Rocksteady to development, and Kevin Conroy once again voicing Batman? Well, I'll be honest. As you guys know, I'm always honest. I'm happy. I'm happy we're getting another Batman game from Rocksteady because the first two were absolutely outstanding. I mean, some of the best games I've ever played. At the time, I said they were the best movie tie or superhero tie-in games I've ever played, right? And then last year, we had that god-awful wannabe Batman Arkham Origins, and I hate to say it, it should not be called Batman Arkham, and there should be a class action lawsuit against the game company because they used the name and the code from a game that was not theirs, and it was a bait and switch. Oh, it's going to be another Arkham game. Oh, cool, it'll be up to the standards of the other ones. Massive bugs, frame rate issues, combat issues, and the game was just not up to the level as the Rocksteady games. I think we all were gypped last year. We all were cheated. We thought we were going to get something and we didn't, and shame on them for actually literally copying and pasting to make it look like the other game so we would buy it, right? How frustrating is that? So, obviously I'm opinionated on it. I'm pissed that I went and I bought this game. I thought it was okay, but like I said in the review, this would have been great if it was the first installment of the series, not the third. And then, of course, oh, it's not the third. Batman Arkham Knight is the last one. Well, fuck you then. What was that shit last year? You and your fucking tricky ways. So, I'm extremely happy that Rocksteady is... I'm happy I'm going to get it on next gen. It's next gen only. Thrilling, right? I'm thrilled about that. And I hope that it's good. Please, Lord, let it live up to the quality of the other Batman Rocksteady games because they were amazing and I want another amazing game. All right. And then last question, and that will end this episode. Thank you, everyone who submitted your questions. If you did not get your question answered, I apologize. I tried to pick the best ones that I felt I had the best answers for. Keep in mind, we will have another episode of Ask the King in 1 month's time. I believe it's around the end of May. We're going to do it. And you can submit your questions on thekingofhate.com right now. The thread is actually live right now to do so. Or you can wait a little while, and if there's more pertinent questions over the course of the month, you can post them up. And, of course, I always take them off of Twitter and Facebook. The final question of episode 42 of Hate Live is that... Hate Live? Of Ask the King is this. This is from Devontae, and he says, "Hey, Phil, have you been caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recently? If so, what do you think about the major after effects of the Captain America movie, which has actually affected and majorly helped to improve the show? If you haven't watched it yet, watch the movie first because it spoils certain things." Well, for those of you who have not watched Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I do not want to spoil. However, there was huge things in the past 3 weeks that have completely shaken up the show and literally changed it. The show, previous to this Captain America movie's release, The Winter Soldier, was basically, it's like a crack team of spies, and they go and they investigate certain things, and it almost reminded me of Fringe. You guys watch Fringe on Fox, where it was like, wow, you got the crazy scientist, you got the young, attractive agent, you've got this other guy who's kind of like a criminal, and they team up to solve these crazy-ass scientific cases. It was the same thing here. You got the super combat spy, you got the attractive computer nerd, you got the two lab rats. They all team up their forces to try to solve these crazy Fringe kind of events. It was almost the same premise as Fringe. And then all of a sudden, like 2 to 3 weeks ago, the whole show changed because of the events of something that happened in Captain America Winter Soldier. And now I like it because I don't know where it's going. I'm completely confused. I actually thought that the show's season was coming to an end, and then it just keeps going with all this new content. I was like, whoa. So I'm like where the show is going. If you don't watch it, you're going to want to watch it, from the beginning, because there's actually things. This is one of those shows where if you miss an episode, you may have missed out on a critical plot point. It's almost like a comic book. You missed out on that plot point. Now you don't understand the things that are happening after it. But I'm actually liking it better now than I did before. Before it was kind of a knockoff. Now it seems to be becoming more original, and I'm liking it a lot better. Okay. Okay. That is it for this episode of Ask the King, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I thank you for watching, whether it was on Twitch or on YouTube. Next month, again, we'll have more questions, and I promise you we will do an episode next month. So thank you for watching Ask the King, everybody. I will see you guys soon for new gameplay coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got Oblivion. Holy crap, I hope you guys are excited for that, because I am. And this weekend, we got the return of Smart Guys. We got so much stuff coming up and pending that I hope you guys will tune into. And again, I really need your help, being that I'm going to be moving within the next couple of months. Any support that you can lend, whether it's your viewership, whether it's your continued word of mouth, spreading the word about my content, whether it's you becoming a paid subscriber on Twitch TV, whether it's turning off your ad block, whatever you can do, I'm very appreciative. Thank you very much. I'm only where I am right now because of you. Not because of me, yes, my hard work, but because of you watching the hard work that I put out. And this is such an awesome accomplishment to be able to move out of Connecticut and move to a better state. Again, if you want the full explanation of that, watch the pre-stream video that I made before Ask the King started. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Oh, that looks great, doesn't it? Have a good night. I'll see you for more gameplay soon. Peace out.